You know, it's appropriate that this was called In the Heights, because there weren't that many lows. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're talking about a brand new release, In the Heights. Before we begin, let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this movie were if you already saw it or if you were planning on seeing it, and make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these reviews, as it helps me out immensely by getting my channel out there. And if you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases, older films, hidden gems, and so much more on a near daily basis. But let's jump right into it and let's talk about In the Heights. This is a film version of the Broadway musical in which Usnavi, a sympathetic New York bodega owner, played by Anthony Ramos, saves every penny every day as he imagines and sings about a better life. This is written by Chiara Algeria Hudes, adapting the musical she co-wrote with Lin-Manuel Miranda, and it's directed by John M. Chu. And it's the second film based on a Lin-Manuel Miranda musical that we got in the last 2 years, after the live stage recording of Hamilton on Disney Plus last year. And while that is technically just a filmed version of the play, it is classified as a movie. And I really liked Hamilton. I did a review for it on my channel last year. I gave it a pretty high rating, though it was the first time I even heard a piece of music from that show, so given it was nonstop song after song for 2.5 hours with a story, it was a lot to take in at the time, but I've grown to like it a lot more after I had the soundtrack on repeat through all of last year, and even a little into this year. And I was excited for this from early last year when it was initially supposed to be released, and I even included it on my most anticipated movies of the year last year, despite not having seen the original Broadway musical. And while I had some already fairly high hopes for this one for a while, now that I knew what Lin-Manuel Miranda is capable of in terms of songwriting after seeing Hamilton, it definitely made me even more excited for this year. Now, I try not to let myself get hyped up too much for movies just out of fear of disappointment, but I'd say that In the Heights mostly lived up to the hype. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's like my new favorite film of the year or anything, but I mostly had a good time with this one. It's a very feel-good film, and that's without a doubt its biggest charm. There's conflict and there's tension here, as it's centered around the general hardships of a lot of these characters, but this isn't a movie that's looking to beat you down, even as it ventures into some darker territory, some of which was added in specifically for the film to touch upon relevant subject matter and give it a timelier feel. Now, it's a film about spreading a positive message, and it's about having hope even when the odds are stacked against you, and it's about persevering through your troubles even when the chips are down. And while those sound like very corny and cliched messages, the way it's all presented through these visually spectacular dance sequences and catchy songs, it makes that a non-issue for the most part. We'll see this message ring true in nearly all of these characters' storylines. Usnavi wants to save up to reopen his late father's business in the Dominican Republic. Kevin, the owner of the taxi company, played by Jimmy Smits, does whatever he can to make sure that his daughter Nina, played by Leslie Grace, can re-enroll in college after she drops out. Meanwhile, Usnavi's love interest Vanessa, played by Melissa Barrera, wants to leave the Heights but has trouble getting a rental application approved, and so on and so forth. Now, while Usnavi is considered the main character here, with a framing device of him telling this story to a group of children, this is really more of an ensemble film. The importance of community is a major recurring theme all throughout this, with a lot of the scenes and songs being these big ensemble pieces, usually with everyone coming together in support of someone who's feeling down, or celebrating something alongside them, or just generally helping one another out. And speaking of the songs, I gotta say, they were all just wonderful, and they even got better as the film goes along, at least in terms of overall presentation. Now, while from the beginning, most of them had this nice sing-along feel to them, including the opening title song, Benny's Dispatch, and It Won't Be Long Now, I definitely found myself more engrossed in a lot of the later productions, like Blackout and Carnaval de Barrio, which I think is less due to the songs themselves and more with the pacing of the film in general. At 2.5 hours, and with the film being about multiple storylines all going on, the pacing in the first half in particular isn't always the best, as it has a lot of ground to cover. It does take some time to set everyone and everything up, such as establishing some of the dynamics among everyone in town. And the way in which some of that was conveyed would be through stopping some of the songs halfway through so they can get into this spoken word material before finishing the song up, which was something I had to get a little used to, especially just in comparison to Hamilton, which was entirely sung. But as the film went on, the pacing picked up and it became a lot more streamlined in terms of storytelling. I'd say by the hour mark, arc, as the storylines all started to intertwine a lot more, it felt more like it was full steam ahead, and as a result, everything felt consistently more engaging as a whole, from the staging of the songs to the emotional intensity of some of the character arcs, with Chu doing a nice job of upping the stakes and building off the previous scene once he got into the swing of things. So all of that, along with the fact that the visuals for some of these later songs, which relied even more on ensemble efforts, caused them to really stick out more to me, at least in terms of how they're presented in the film. Because I've listened to the soundtrack a few times after watching the film, and just hearing all the songs back to back uninterrupted definitely is a bit of a different feel, for me at least. Now, while John M. Chu is primarily known these days for the smash hit Crazy Rich Asians, it should be worth noting that he started his career in the musical world, having directed 2 of the Step Up sequels. Now, while I haven't seen either of those, it is clear that Chu already knew exactly what he was doing when it came to musicals, and the way he directed all those dance sequences here was phenomenal. And it's especially worth noting that he does take advantage of the different medium when translating the material to the big screen. Considering In the Heights started out on the stage, there was only so much that could be done in terms of effects, so everything's got to stay pretty grounded and simple. And even when it comes to more elaborate stage productions in general, even the more effects-heavy productions still feel like there's more of a basis in reality. But here, Chu doesn't back himself into a corner or limit what he could do, with surreal moments like having the bust for wigs in a salon move during one of the songs No Bodega, animated shapes come to life during the song 96,000, or having the characters Benny and Nina dance along the walls during the song When the Sun Goes Down. And it all looks absolutely fantastic, and nothing about any of the dancing or the shot composition feels clunky, nor do the effects feel hokey. And as for all the actors, everyone was just so charismatic, and there was this nice sincerity that exuded all of them. I'm especially very happy to see Anthony Ramos front and center here, after seeing what he was capable of in Hamilton. And here, he takes over the role originally played by Lin-Manuel Miranda in the stage version. Though Miranda himself has a small supporting role as the piragua vendor who gets into a battle for business with a Mr. Softy vendor played by the star of the original musical and another Hamilton actor, Christopher Jackson. But Ramos is excellent here, with an infectious energy, smooth-sounding vocals when singing, and a natural warmth to him that makes you instantly want to root for him right from the start. And I hope this is just the start of a prosperous career as a leading man for him moving forward. Same goes for Melissa Barrera as Vanessa, who has a subtle wit yet sharp delivery about her that makes her someone you can easily connect with as well. She's another one who I hope we see a lot more of in the future. Now, of the main storylines, I think I enjoyed the Usnavi Vanessa storyline a bit more, though it mainly comes down to my personal enjoyment of the 2 performances. I just found them to be the standouts, but I thought both Corey Hawkins as Benny and Leslie Grace as Nina were also very nice, while both Jimmy Smits as Kevin and Olga Merides, reprising her role from the original stage production as Abuela, the town matriarch, were also major highlights for me. But once we got introduced to everyone and got an idea of how they all were, everyone was enjoyable to watch in the end. The chemistry everyone had with one another felt natural, and there was this sense that you were watching a real community supporting one another here. And I found the charms of everyone hard to resist. So, all in all, the entire cast and the crew came together to make this the feel-good hit of the summer. In the Heights is one of the year's nicest films. It's visually stunning with some standout direction by John M. Chu, who does an excellent job of translating the stage production to the big screen. It has a great soundtrack full of catchy songs that get better as the film goes on, and it has a nice message about following your dreams and spreading positivity, even when things seem down, with all the storylines of this ensemble cast being a joy to watch. As a big fan of musicals, I had a lot of fun with this, and I recommend checking it out. In the Heights gets an 8.5 out of 10. So let me know, did you see In the Heights, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you like all the songs? Did you like this more than Hamilton? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.